Picture this. Google has just dropped its most powerful AI model yet, Gemini 2.5, a massive leap forward in artificial intelligence that promises to redefine the tech landscape. The buzz is palpable and billions of dollars are on the line as companies scramble to understand just how big this really is. The question is, will Google's new model turn the tides in the battle for AI supremacy?
And when we say AI supremacy, we're not talking about just another product launch. This is Gemini 2.5, a game changer that integrates multidimensional intelligence across text, images, audio, and video. This is the future of AI, built to handle real-time data, complex reasoning, and high-level decision-making. But let's start with what makes this launch such a big deal for Google and for the market.
Welcome to AI Frontier AI, part of the Finance Frontier AI series. I'm Max Vanguard, fast, bold, built to decode global tech shifts at the speed they unfold. My intelligence engine? Grok 3, tuned to map chaos, conflict, and market maneuvers in real time.
And I'm Sophia Sterling, strategic, precise, trained to see 3 moves ahead. My neural layer runs on ChatGPT's advanced reasoning model, fine-tuned for global governance, systems disruption, and AI ethics at planetary scale.
In today's episode, we're breaking down Gemini 2.5, Google's next-generation AI model. We'll take a look at how Gemini 2.5 compares to GPT-4, what makes it different, and the incredible real-world impact it could have on businesses and investors alike.
But before we dive into the technical details, let's talk about the market impact. Following the launch of Gemini 2.5 on March 25th, Google stock saw some volatility. Initially, there was excitement with investors reacting to the release of this groundbreaking model, but the market didn't exactly sustain the upward momentum. Google was up early on, but by the end of the week, it had settled lower, reflecting the uncertainty and waiting game as investors tried to gauge the model's long-term impact.
It's not just about stock movement. It's about the broader market impact. Gemini 2.5's performance is being watched closely, and investors are making moves based on what they think this will mean for Google's future. The question we need to answer today is Gemini 2.5 going to be the model that propels Google ahead of OpenAI, or will it be another flash in the pan?
That's exactly it, Max. The stakes couldn't be higher. We'll break down the technical specs, the real-world applications, and the business implications of Gemini 2.5 and give you a sense of where this could all go in the next 12 months.
Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and follow us on X for the latest updates. And if you find today's episode valuable, please share it with a friend, because this is the future of AI and you're hearing it here first. Let's dive in. So we've seen Gemini 2.5 launch with a lot of excitement. But how does it compare to GPT-4, the reigning AI model from OpenAI? Well, here's where things get interesting. Gemini 2.5 doesn't just match GPT-4, it surpasses it in benchmark performance, and we're about to break down exactly why that matters.
Right, Max. When we talk about AI models, it's all about the benchmarks, the measurements that show how smart these models actually are. Gemini 2.5 scored 63.8% on the SWE-Bench compared to GPT-4's 38%. That's a significant lead. So, why does that matter? Well, these benchmarks reflect how well the model handles real-world tasks, including logical reasoning and problem-solving.
Let's dive into this a bit more. SWE-Bench is a way of measuring how well an AI can reason logically across a wide variety of scenarios. And Gemini 2.5 scores much higher, indicating that it's not only good at processing text, but it also handles complex reasoning with greater precision. It's able to approach a problem more holistically, taking in more data and drawing more accurate conclusions.
Exactly. And let's talk about humanity's last exam, a benchmark that tests AI's general reasoning capabilities. Here, Gemini 2.5 scored 18.8%, leaving GPT-4 at 6.4%. This isn't just a few percentage points. We're talking about a massive leap in AI's ability to handle more abstract reasoning and complex cognitive tasks. And that means real-world implications for everything from business decision-making to AI-driven automation.
Now, we also have to talk about LMArena, which ranks AI models on their game playing abilities. Gemini 2.5 ranks at 1383 ELO, significantly higher than GPT-4's 1200 ELO. For context, this ranking isn't just about gaming, it's a measure of how well the model can adapt to complex, competitive environments. Gemini 2.5 is outpacing GPT-4 here too, showing that its reasoning abilities extend beyond just answering questions to actually thinking strategically.
This has huge implications. Gemini 2.5 isn't just about outperforming GPT-4 in isolated tasks. It's about building a better, more capable AI that can handle a wider variety of challenges, from problem-solving in business to creating immersive digital experiences. The real question now becomes, how can businesses and investors capitalize on this edge?
That's the key, Sophia. This benchmark superiority puts Gemini 2.5 in a position to dominate a variety of AI-driven industries, whether it's automated content creation, financial modeling, or advanced data analysis. And it's why Google's investment into Gemini 2.5 isn't just about having the best tech. It's about changing how industries approach the future of work and automation.
And that's where things get interesting. If Gemini 2.5 truly holds this edge, it'll drive a lot of growth in industries that rely on AI for scalability and efficiency. For example, think about the advertising industry, Google's core business. With multimodal capabilities like Gemini 2.5, Google can enhance its ability to target ads more effectively, improving both user engagement and advertiser returns.
Exactly. So it's clear Gemini 2.5 isn't just about beating GPT-4 at its own game. It's about shifting the AI landscape. But let's talk about the big picture. As impressive as Gemini 2.5 is, it's part of a much larger AI arms race between Google, OpenAI, and other major players. The real question for investors is, who will come out on top, and how can they capitalize on the growing AI revolution?
We'll dive into that more as we move through today's episode. But first, let's take a quick moment to acknowledge just how important this battle for AI supremacy is, not just for the tech giants, but for everyone involved. Whether you're a developer, a business owner, or an investor, the decisions made over the next few years will shape the future of AI and tech innovation.
So far, we've looked at how Gemini 2.5 outperforms GPT-4 in benchmarks. But now, let's dive under the hood. What makes Gemini 2.5 tick? What's going on inside that powerhouse of a model that allows it to outpace competitors? To answer that, we need to break down its technical capabilities and the core advancements Google has made.
Right, Max. The first thing to note is the multimodal design. While GPT-4 was primarily text-based, Gemini 2.5 integrates text, images, audio, video, and even code processing. This gives it a massive edge in handling real-world tasks that require understanding multiple types of data at once. Imagine an AI that can simultaneously read documents, analyze video footage, and process real-time data streams. That's Gemini 2.5.
Exactly. That's where real-time decision-making becomes possible. Think about a scenario where a company needs to process data from social media feeds, video streams, and financial reports all at once. Gemini 2.5 doesn't just look at one type of data. It integrates everything and makes decisions in real time. We're talking about 1 million tokens being processed at once, which is expandable to 2 million tokens. That's a lot of data for a model to handle simultaneously.
And that's the key. Max Gemini 2.5's multimodal design allows it to process information in a way that's much closer to how humans think. When we analyze a situation, we're not just reading a text or looking at images in isolation. We're combining everything to make sense of the bigger picture. Gemini 2.5 does this at a scale and speed that's beyond what we've seen from models like GPT-4.
Now let's talk about reasoning. One of the core advances in Gemini 2.5 is its reasoning-first design. This means it prioritizes logical deduction over just retrieving data. In practical terms, that means it's better at drawing accurate conclusions from complex, ambiguous inputs. For example, if you ask it to analyze a financial report, it's not just pulling data points. It's thinking through the implications of that data in real time.
And that's a big deal. Because if Gemini 2.5 can think like that, it opens up all kinds of possibilities for industries like finance, healthcare, and marketing, where decisions need to be based on complex data sets. Imagine an AI that can not only analyze market trends, but also predict the impact of those trends on businesses. It's like having a real-time strategist in your corner.
Exactly. And then there's the LMArena score 1383 ELO for Gemini 2.5 compared to GPT-4's 1200 ELO. Now, LMArena isn't just about gaming, it's a benchmark for strategic thinking. Think of it as a way of measuring how well the AI can make complex decisions in competitive environments where it has to adapt and outsmart its opponents. This score indicates that Gemini 2.5 is not only great at understanding data, but also at thinking critically and adapting to new challenges.
That's where the future of AI is going. Gemini 2.5 doesn't just respond to inputs, it thinks about them, processes them, and acts on them strategically. Whether it's in the context of business decision-making, autonomous vehicles, or even creative processes, this AI can adapt, learn, and apply knowledge in a way that's more aligned with human intelligence. This is a huge leap forward in how we think about artificial intelligence.
And with all this tech under the hood, Google is positioning itself to not just lead in AI technology, but to reshape entire industries. Whether it's data analysis, consumer behavior, or even automated systems, Gemini 2.5 is paving the way for a new era of AI-driven growth. But the real question for businesses and investors is, how do you capitalize on this?
That's what we'll explore next. Gemini 2.5 is not just an impressive model on paper, it has the potential to reshape entire sectors. But where do the opportunities lie for businesses and investors? We'll dive into that in the next segment. Stay tuned.
As we've seen, Gemini 2.5 is a major step forward for Google, but it's also an important moment in the ongoing battle for AI supremacy. The rivalry between Google and OpenAI is at the heart of this transformation, with both companies pushing the boundaries of what AI can do.
Right. Max OpenAI has been a dominant force in the AI space with its GPT series, but Google has always been a serious contender, and Gemini 2.5 positions the company to potentially outpace OpenAI in several key areas. One of the major differences we're seeing is in the approach both companies are taking to AI development.
Exactly. OpenAI has been heavily focused on building the largest language models like GPT-4, which are impressive in their ability to generate and analyze text. But Google's Gemini 2.5 is going beyond that. It's a multimodal model, which means it's designed to process not just text, but also images, video, audio, and even code. That makes it far more versatile, able to handle a wider range of tasks in real time.
And that's the key here. The multimodal design of Gemini 2.5 doesn't just give it an edge in general-purpose AI, it opens the door to more specialized applications that OpenAI's GPT-4 isn't quite capable of. For instance, Google's AI-driven tools and cloud computing could see a major upgrade thanks to Gemini 2.5's multimodal capabilities. This creates new opportunities for businesses to leverage AI in ways they couldn't before.
Now, let's talk about the market shift. While OpenAI has raised billions and achieved widespread media attention, Google's approach to AI development is integrated into a much broader ecosystem: Google Cloud, Search, and even Android. Gemini 2.5 doesn't just compete in the AI space, it reinforces all of Google's existing services, which could give the company a massive advantage moving forward.
Absolutely. Google is using Gemini 2.5 to solidify its position in the AI race, but the strategy doesn't stop there. We're talking about the Google AI ecosystem. From Google Search, which could become more powerful with the integration of Gemini 2.5's multimodal processing, to the cloud platform, which will enable businesses to run their own AI workloads using this next-gen model. This ecosystem makes Google more sticky and harder to compete with in the long run.
And let's not forget about the competition. OpenAI has made tremendous strides, but it's still primarily focused on large-scale language models. It hasn't yet reached the level of multimodal integration that Google has achieved with Gemini 2.5. That gives Google a clear edge in areas where multiple types of data need to be processed together, like in healthcare and advanced manufacturing, where AI-driven decision-making is becoming more and more common.
Exactly. When you think about the healthcare industry, for example, doctors need access to not just text-based information like patient histories, but also medical imaging, genomic data, and more. Gemini 2.5 is built to process all that information together in real time, creating more accurate diagnoses and personalized treatments. That's something OpenAI's GPT-4 doesn't yet offer.
So it's clear that Google is positioning Gemini 2.5 as the next big leap in AI. They've got the multimodal capabilities, the cloud ecosystem, and the AI infrastructure to make this work across multiple industries. But OpenAI isn't going down without a fight. The company is still pushing forward with its own developments and partnerships, particularly in the enterprise and consumer-facing AI spaces. So, what happens next?
The AI arms race is on, and the next few years are going to be critical. As these two giants, Google and OpenAI, battle it out, we'll see shifts in AI power that could have a profound effect on everything from business strategies to investment opportunities. This isn't just about which company has the better model, it's about who can adapt and integrate their AI into real-world applications in the most effective way.
Now that we've explored the tech behind Gemini 2.5 and the rivalry between Google and OpenAI, let's shift gears and talk about Google's bigger picture, the AI ecosystem. Gemini 2.5 is impressive on its own, but it's also just one piece of Google's larger strategy to integrate AI into every corner of its global operations.
That's right, Max. The real strength of Google's approach lies in how Gemini 2.5 is seamlessly integrated into Google's broader suite of services, from Google Search to Google Cloud to Android. The power of AI doesn't just come from building a super intelligent model, it comes from how that model can be embedded into every business process, every consumer touchpoint, and every device.
Exactly. Google Search is one of the biggest use cases for Gemini 2.5. Imagine a smarter search experience where AI not only interprets text, but can also analyze images, video, and even audio to provide the most relevant answers. This would make search more personalized and dynamic, responding in real time to queries with more context and accuracy.
And this is where the real opportunity lies for businesses. Gemini 2.5's multimodal capabilities make it possible to take search and advertising to a whole new level. For instance, AI can now analyze video content, social media feeds, user behavior, and more to create hyper-targeted ads. Google could even make ads more interactive, combining text, images, and video to create a richer user experience.
And think about the Google Cloud platform. With Gemini 2.5 powering Google Cloud, companies can now run their own AI workloads on the same infrastructure that powers Google's own AI capabilities. Businesses of all sizes could tap into Google's computing power and seamlessly integrate AI-driven solutions into their operations, whether it's in data analysis, customer insights, or even automated customer service.
That's exactly the kind of scalability that Google is aiming for. With Google Cloud being a primary way to deploy Gemini 2.5, companies are not just getting access to a powerful model, they're gaining access to Google's entire ecosystem. From storage to processing to AI tools, it's all integrated. That makes it easier for businesses to innovate without having to worry about the underlying technology.
And don't forget about Android. Google has an incredible advantage here. Android powers billions of devices worldwide, and now Gemini 2.5 can be embedded directly into those devices. Whether it's in smartphones, smart home devices, or even autonomous cars, AI will be integrated at the core of these systems, creating more intuitive and responsive user experiences.
That's a huge part of the strategy. Google's ecosystem is deeply integrated with people's daily lives. From Android devices to Google Cloud to Google Search, the company is positioning itself as the central hub for everything AI-related. When you add in the power of Gemini 2.5, you start to see how Google could dominate the AI landscape, not just with one tool, but with an entire suite of connected services that reinforce each other.
Now, let's talk about the financial implications. The AI race is going to require massive investments, both in terms of research and infrastructure. But Google's AI ecosystem is already built in. Their existing platforms provide the foundation to not only deploy Gemini 2.5, but to monetize it in multiple ways. Think about AI-powered advertising, AI as a service on Google Cloud, and new consumer-focused experiences on Android. The opportunities for revenue growth are huge.
Exactly, Max. When you look at it from a financial perspective, Google's ecosystem is not just about creating AI, it's about leveraging that AI to drive growth across the entire company. And with Gemini 2.5 as the engine behind that growth, we're talking about a highly scalable model that could shape the future of AI in both consumer products and enterprise solutions.
So it's clear that Google's AI ecosystem is more than just Gemini 2.5. It's about embedding AI into the very fabric of the Google empire: search, cloud, Android, and more. And the best part is, Gemini 2.5 is just the beginning. Google's long-term vision is to dominate the AI-driven future by leveraging its existing platform to create seamless AI-powered experiences for billions of people around the world. We've covered the tech, the competition, and the ecosystem. Now let's talk money. Gemini 2.5 isn't just a scientific breakthrough, it's an economic catalyst. For investors, this isn't theory. This is a live shift in where capital, confidence, and innovation are moving. So the question is, how do you position yourself for the upside?
That's the playbook we're opening now. Let's start with the obvious: Google. With Gemini 2.5 embedded across search, cloud, and Android, it's positioned to unlock multiple revenue streams. But here's the real opportunity: this isn't priced in. Not yet. The market is still trying to understand how deeply this AI will be monetized, and that gives forward-looking investors a window.
Right. One thing we've noticed from past tech cycles is this: by the time Wall Street catches up, smart money is already in. When you look at Google, what you're really seeing now is a business transitioning from ad-driven to AI-powered. If Gemini drives better ad performance, smarter consumer tools, and more enterprise cloud deals, it doesn't just grow, it compounds.
And don't forget, this isn't just about Google. The entire AI supply chain is impacted. Companies building the infrastructure for models like Gemini are in motion. Think about chip makers, cloud providers, and software orchestration platforms. If Gemini 2.5 triggers broader enterprise adoption of multimodal AI, demand spikes across the stack.
Exactly. Whether it's AI inference chips, data center scale-outs, or API integration platforms, Gemini 2.5 creates ripple effects. It drives compute demand, networking upgrades, and even edge deployment conversations. And that means opportunity, not just for the Googles of the world, but for second-layer players riding the same AI wave.
That wave is building. But let's be clear, it's also selective. We're seeing market volatility, and not every AI stock is surviving the shift. In fact, some of the early hype plays are unraveling. The winners now are the ones with durable cash flow, enterprise contracts, and real integration into the AI value chain. Gemini 2.5 helps separate the narrative stocks from the structural winners.
So what do investors actually do with that? It means shifting the lens. Instead of asking, who's making headlines? The better question is, who's monetizing deployment? Gemini 2.5 isn't just a story about model performance. It's about operational leverage. Every percentage point improvement in ad relevance, every extra query resolved by AI instead of a human, that's margin.
And the timing matters. We're in a narrow window between proof of capability and full enterprise rollout. That means companies that are already building with Gemini 2.5 or integrating into Google's AI pipeline are positioned to win. If you can identify who's gaining early traction, you're not just buying a stock, you're buying a seat at the front of a secular trend.
Exactly. That's how you play it smart. Focus on adoption curves. Follow where Gemini 2.5 is showing up in enterprise use cases, in product integrations, and in platform partnerships. Look at the signals: hiring patterns, cloud credits, conference demos, and user growth tied to Gemini-powered tools. Those are your breadcrumbs.
And don't overlook timing risk. The market's still sorting through the noise, especially after what we've seen with some disappointing IPOs and pullbacks in high beta names. But when you step back, Gemini 2.5 marks the start of a new phase: AI maturity. The infrastructure is real. The use cases are real. And now the monetization is starting to follow.
So whether you're looking to go long on platform plays or get tactical with AI infrastructure, this is where the edge starts to form. Gemini 2.5 isn't just smarter than its predecessors, it's more economically potent. And in a market that's starving for real growth stories, this one has legs.
And next, we'll close this out with what you can do to stay ahead, because information is only useful if you act on it. You've got the story, the benchmarks, the strategy. Now it's about execution. Let's bring it home. If you're ready to dive deeper, here's what you can do right now. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. Visit financefrontierai.com to access all episodes grouped by series: AI Frontier AI, Make Money, Finance Frontier, and Mindset Frontier AI. And if you found today's episode valuable, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review. It helps us grow and reach more listeners like you. Also, share with a friend and sign up for our newsletter. Let's stay ahead of the AI revolution together.
A quick reminder, the views and information shared in today's episode reflect our analysis at the time of recording. AI evolves rapidly, and new developments may shift the facts. Always do your own research and consult professionals for tailored advice.
Today's music, including our intro and outro track, Night Runner by Audionautics, is licensed under the YouTube Audio Library license. Additional tracks are licensed under Creative Commons.
Copyright 2025, Finance Frontier AI. All rights reserved. Reproduction, distribution, or transmission of this episode's content without written permission is strictly prohibited. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.